Some apes, lady apes, gentlemen apes. The previous video got cut off because my iPhone space is not enough. I'm a very poor ape, cannot afford iPhone with lots of memory. So, okay, now, yeah, I use my money for my family first. Wife's allowance, 2 kids, tuition. Okay, now, we were talking about whales buying. We're talking about after earnings report, the SHF, Big C and Friends, they always do tanking of the price, shorting of the shares, and after the June 9th shareholders meeting, the trading day of June 10th, wow, that was a mother of all short attacks. Many apes told me you could describe this not as the MOAS, but the opposite of MOAS, which is the mother of all short attacks. We want the mother of all short squeeze, right? Okay, so that said, remember the VW squeeze? It goes down, 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 down into the valley of death. Mother of all short attacks. And then what happened with the VW squeeze? Okay, just Google VW squeeze and look at the charts. Then where are we now? VW squeeze was like this. Okay, came up with their share price, and then the shorts try to push it down, down, down to instill fear, psychology warfare, to make you panic sell. You do the heavyweight lifting for them, sell, sell, sell. Okay, well, maybe some did. And then into the valley of death. This is the VW squeeze, mother of all short attacks. And then what happened? Okay, well, just Google VW, capital V, capital W, space, squeeze. Okay, Google it, and then you'll know where we are as compared to the VW squeeze. Okay, I don't give price predictions. I don't give timelines. I can just tell you, mother of all short squeeze is not if, it is when. I'll add one more thing to that. It is near. Okay, now, how do you know it's near? Because we're getting the mother of all short attacks. And how are they shorting it this time? Well, the shorts have many tools, right? They could sell synthetic shares. They do naked shorting. But with SEC, new chairman, and everybody watching, and everybody's watching these meme stocks, so SEC is watching closely these meme stocks. Not against retail, but to make the market fair and equal. So, yes, the SEC is watching closely the market, but SEC is not against the meme stocks. SEC is watching the volatile stocks. Okay, now, so the SHF, they cannot do naked shorting blatantly in broad daylight. So again, smart apes, show me data, proof that this June 10th mother of all short attacks has been done through shorting ETFs that contain GME. Yes, we covered that in previous videos. I can say that again. The SHF, Big C and Friends, they're shorting GME by shorting ETFs that contain GME, not only in the after hours of June 9th, but also in the next trading day, June 10th. Massive, massive shorting of ETFs that contain GME inside. Now, that is a very expensive way to short. Remember in previous vid, and you could Google it, brokers such as Jefferies and other big banks, they say no more lending shares of GME and AMC for you borrowers to short. No more. It's too dangerous. Okay? Jeffries, the broker, says, no more. It's too dangerous for me to lend you, my clients, shares of GME and AMC for you to short. And so are the big banks following. So it's very difficult to borrow common shares of GME to short. And with the SEC watching, it is very, very dangerous to do naked shorting. So the only way left for SHF, shorting hedge funds, Big C and friends, is to short via ETFs. You short the entire ETF, the share. GME inside gets shorted as well. Okay? To target GME inside, you have to short the whole ETF. It's expensive to do that, right? Yes. But they have to do it. Why? You know why? Psychology warfare. Instill fear for you to panic sell so that you do the heavyweight lifting of selling for them. Okay? Now, maybe you panic sold. Maybe you didn't. But in the last vid, for a fact, a whale bought 300,000 shares of GME on the trading day of June 10th, 2021. That's equivalent to times the share price of 200 something. Yeah. It was bought around noon. Eastern time, Central time, USA. So look at the share price then and times that by 300,000 shares of GME. That's around more than 70 million US dollars. One single whale. That's a smart whale. That is like buying VW at this point. Just before the? Okay. That said, I'm implying we are near MOAS. I cannot give you timeline, I cannot give you price predictions, but I can tell you facts, because I don't give false hopes. Okay? I'm an investor, I'm an ape just like you. I'm not YouTuber Andy, I'm Ape Andy. I'm retail investor Ape Andy, I'm not YouTuber Andy. So, I'm just telling you what I know. I don't give false hope. I'm just telling you what I know. Okay? And these are not investment advice. These are not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you what I know. You have to make your own individual decisions. Okay, oh, by the way, I made my own individual decision on June the 10th. I bought more GME. Yes. And it was around 1:30 p.m. Check the share price around that time, and I'll tell you, it's below $240, and of course above $211. That was the lowest point, right? Okay, so I bought between that. In portions, okay? Now, why? Because I have confidence in the company. Ryan Cohen didn't make any big announcement. He always under-promise and over-deliver. That is much better than over-promise and under-deliver. I know for a fact that GME has bought 4 warehouses, large-size warehouses, renting them, paying them money because they're going under e-transformation. Why 4 large warehouses? Because the USA is so big, right? You have to buy 4 large warehouses to put the inventory and then deliver, because you're doing e-commerce. Which reminds me to tell you that buying GME now is like buying Amazon when it was 200, 300 something. So, again, the SHF, they're shorting it, GME, by shorting ETFs. That's a very expensive way to do it, right? Not only that, given the market cap of GME, it's going from Russell 2000 to Russell 1000. I know I told you that in previous vids, just to recap. Now, The Russell 2000 and 1000 index fund, they are rule-based. You meet this rule, you go in. You meet this rule, you go up from Russell 2000 to Russell 1000. So, by market cap, by its revenue from the earnings report, those are the two criteria for Russell ETF index fund restructuring. It's going from Russell 2000 to 1000. June 28th, that's the date it'll be published. And now I'm not giving you dates for price fluctuations. I'm just telling you the dates of Russell Index Fund restructuring. June 28th. And so before that, Russell 2000 will have to close all the positions of GME, and all the funds, ETFs copying Russell 2000 will have to do the same as well. Closing those positions, meaning borrowed shares, lent shares, please come back. You know what I mean. Those who borrowed shares must return it to Russell 2000 Index Fund and the other ETFs that are copying it. Because they copied Russell 2000 and closed positions, you have to return the shares of GME to them. So the borrowers of the shares have to buy at the market price to return the shares. That's a big set of buying power. Now the Russell 1000 is adding GME, supposedly. Well, almost for sure. Just wait until it's published. And then Russell 1000 index, which doesn't have GME previously, will have to buy lots of shares of GME at the market price and put it into Russell 1000 index fund. And all the ETFs that are copying Russell 1000, now these are big players, institution ETFs that copy Russell 1000. Okay, we have Russell 2000, ETFs copying it, smaller ETFs. We have Russell 1000, big ETFs, institutional ETFs copying Russell 1000. If Russell 1000 adds GME, not only does Russell 1000 buys GME shares, lots of them at market price, all the big institutional players, ETFs that copy Russell 1000 have to do the same as well. Why? Why did they do this previously? Because previously Russell 1000 doesn't have GME inside. So they must buy GME once GME is added to Russell 1000. Do you understand me? So that's a set of buying powers. Because Russell 2000 is closing positions, lent shares have to be returned, buy at market price, return, borrower, buy at market price and return. That's a whole set of buying power. And Russell 1000 and the institutional ETFs, big ETFs copying it, that's another set of buying power. At the same time, think supply and demand, supply and demand. Okay. Now, yes, during the shareholders meeting, there was an intention of GME to, in the future, file a prospectus to issue 5 million shares at market price. But that's just filing. That is intention to file in the future 5 million at market price. This is for the company to go forward. Okay? That is minuscule compared to the whole float and the whole buying power. Okay? So, now, all that said, Russell 2000 moving into Russell 1000 for GME. If you do the research, you would think, and you would ask Ape Andy, what about S&P 500? No, I'm not anticipating a big jump of GME get added into S&P 500 because S&P 500, that is not rule-based. There would have to be a committee. You have to meet 6 criteria of S&P 500, and then a committee would have to vote whether or not to add a certain company into S&P 500. And one company has to be deleted from S&P 500 to add a company into S&P 500 because you can only have 500 in S&P 500, right? Okay, so I'm not bringing my hopes up for GME to make such a gigantic leap directly into S&P 500. No, that's somewhere down the road. likely in the future. But for now, I can tell you almost with 100% certainty, GME will go from Russell 2000 to Russell 1000. So those are ETFs. Hey, why are you mentioning this again, second time in this video? Because I want to tell you that the SHF, Big C and Friends, they have their hands tied. They can't do naked shorting. They can't borrow common stocks because Jeffries and all the big banks says no more lending shares for you to short. Too dangerous for us to lend you shares of AMC and GME to short. So the SHF are left with only the tool of shorting ETFs to short GME inside. Very expensive way to short. And down the line, what happens? The ETFs. Remember? Okay, that's why I'm talking about these two things in this one video. Okay, to tell you that be confident in the situation at hand that we have right now and make up your own individual decisions. The whale made up his or her individual decision and bought 300,000 shares of GME at around 12:30 noon time on June the 10th trading day. How about that? Okay. So, be strong, apes. Individual decision is yours.